Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is up, people? What is up? Thank you for coming back and welcome to Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. I appreciate you guys joining in. We are again live on TikTok. What's happening? We are live on YouTube. What is going on? Again, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, man. Sports world is going bananas. One of the best times of the year, at least for me, was this past weekend. It seemed like everything was on, sports all over the place, just a sports smorgasbord all weekend long. The only game that I didn't care for was that Black Friday NFL game. They're doing too much. NFL doing too much. You had no business being on Black Friday at 3 o'clock. Nobody's trying to do that. Nobody's trying to hear that. Either way, it was a great weekend. So let's get to this. First things first. Again, thank you, TikTok. Y'all keep tapping that screen, man. We are looking to get 3,500 likes and at least 30 new follows. So if you're in here and not following, please click on that follow button, as well as click on the YouTube link that's in my bio. Click on that link. Come on over to YouTube. Join the chat over there. A little bit more interactive. Always put your question up. Give you a little shout out. Plus, you get access to podcasts, interviews, all that good stuff. Just have to subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. So let's get it going. Let's get it going. First things first, the Eagles. The Eagles are maintaining that dominance, people. What is going on? The Eagles are playing on the edge and they're winning every game. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing every game on the edge, and they're winning. They are winning. Are we thinking that the Eagles are the best team in football? I mean, they went to the Chiefs. They won. They beat the Bills. Now, the Bills aren't close to the best team in football, but they're playing better after they made the offensive coordinator change. We'll learn a lot about the Eagles this weekend. We're going to learn a lot about the Eagles this weekend when they take on the 49ers, because the 49ers got their swagger back as well. The 49ers got their swagger back. They smacked around the Seahawks, letting them know who owns that division. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I know there's a lot of people that keep saying that the Eagles, well, you know, they keep winning these close games. They're not dominant. I'm like, the Super Bowl was decided by 3 points last year. You don't have to be dominant as long as you're winning. You don't have to be dominant as long as you are winning. I think that's the key. Just keep winning your games. Just keep winning your football games. And so the Eagles are doing that. I think they are legitimate. I think they are legitimate. My man Hooligan, what's going on, man? Over on YouTube. He says it just like some people over on TikTok said. A win is a win. Some of their games are ugly, but they come out with a W. That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. A win is a win. They don't give you style points. They don't give you extra by winning by 20, 21 points. They don't do that. So now my man Marvel says, what about the Ravens team this year? Which I like the Ravens. And the Ravens are doing the same thing. It's just like last night, the Ravens won 20-10 over the Chargers, who I don't think anybody thinks the Chargers are that good, but you're winning. That's all that matters. They all count. They all count. So that's the main thing. We'll get it figured out. They'll get it figured out. Cowboys are looking good too. Some man over on TikTok said, well, my man Daniel Turner, what about my Cowboys? The Cowboys are playing well. You can't knock it. Now, they're not beating anybody. They're not beating anybody any good. Their claim to fame on the season is playing well in a loss to Philadelphia. So I got to see more from the Cowboys. I got to see more. Well, moving on, or before we move on, what about those Pittsburgh Steelers? We got an offense. Who knew? Who knew? Fire an offensive coordinator. All of a sudden, you roll up 400 yards in offense. The Steelers are back. Kenny Pickett's the man. Baby hands Pickett is, no, I'm kidding. One game, let's not go berserk over one football game. Baby hands played well. I'll give it to him. Baby hands played well. So, but here's the thing, and I know y'all know this. At the beginning of the year, I said the Steelers were going to win 10 games. Here we are sitting at 7-4. I'm not sure this is how I thought we'd get to 7-4, but we got Arizona, the Patriots, the Colts, then the Bengals next. I mean, we got a shot to win at least 11 games. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I like the Steelers' chances. Especially if the offense can play this way and don't get in their way. They scored 16 points, but that was self-inflicted. They should have at least had 27, but they got in the way a couple of times, and it is what it is. It's football. But bottom line, I like it. So you think the Broncos will get the last AFC wild card? Hey, man, Russ is cooking. Russ is cooking. Now, what's really cooking over in Denver is that defense. Defense, after giving up 70 points to Miami, the defense is starting to play lights out football. The Denver Broncos are starting to play. That defense is starting to play. I think they've gotten like 16 turnovers since that game, which is nuts. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. What else we got? So, as soon as Pickett hit Freiermuth over the middle on that 3rd and long, I knew Canada was gone. Hell, I knew it when he threw the first play of the game, 24-yard strike to Freiermuth. I'm like, yeah, Matt Canada is no longer the coordinator. Thank God. And no, Matt Canada on TikTok, I'm not going to hire you. To do what? Call plays? No. You're out. You're fired. Sorry. But let's move on, people. Let's move on. College football. Rivalry week. It was insane, wasn't it? Close games. Starting out, Michigan beat Ohio State. And here's the thing. If Ohio State had a better quarterback, I think they win the game. They win the game. However, Michigan was the more physical football team. They didn't turn it over as much, if at all. And they ran the ball for more yards. You're the more physical team, you win. Ohio State's not physical any longer. It's just, those are just the facts, man. Those are just the facts. And people don't want to hear it, but it's just the truth. Michigan is a more physical football team than Ohio State. They have been the last 3 years, and they've won all 3 games. Period, point blank. My man Trayvon Johnson, them damn Wolverines are rolling. Let's go. They are. And they should also roll over Iowa this week, too. So, but then there's crazy game. Like, everybody said, well, Georgia had out 4 starters. I'm like, I don't care. You got to throw records out the window in these rivalry games. It beat Georgia Tech by 8. Crazy. Crazy. And Alabama needed a miracle to beat Auburn. First of all, Auburn should be ashamed of themselves. I take that back. 4th and 31. 4th and 31. And you allow one-on-one coverage. I have no idea what they were even doing. First of all, you rushed 2 people and you spied the quarterback. Why the hell are you doing that? Why do you need to spy the quarterback on 4th and 31? He is not going to run. Stupid. And then, how do you not have 8 guys lined up on the goal line and that's it? There was guys in the middle of the field at the snap, 4 or 5 people. I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It was insane. And you let one-on-one coverage in the corner of the end zone? Come on, man. Come on, man. You deserved what you got. Just stupidity. Auburn, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. It's crazy. But that's, it is what it is. Now, the one thing is, going back to Ohio State, there's fans that don't want Ryan Day to be the head coach. You guys are insane. He's lost to no Big Ten team except for Michigan the last 3 years. And you're trying to fire that guy? Okay. Ask Nebraska how that goes. When you fire a guy thinking that you're going to, we'll hire somebody else, even though this guy's been winning 11 games a year. Ask how that goes. Nebraska did that with Frank Solich. It took them over a decade to find Bo Pelini. Then they fired him when he was winning, and they haven't recovered. They haven't recovered since. That's what happens. When Nebraska thought they were better than what they were, you fire coaches, they haven't been the same. So you go ahead and you fire Ryan Day if you want to. Insane. So, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But whatever. It's not that Day needs to figure it out. He's just got to be, and that's a good point, saying they need to give Day time to figure it out. They just got to start playing more physical. So they got to start playing more physical. That's it. More physical football. Moving on. Frank Reich got fired today. Frank Reich of the Carolina Panthers, if you guys hadn't heard, he got fired today. Now, if you listen to Frank Reich going back to week 4, it looked like he was basically begging to be fired. Talking about he didn't like having these closed door meetings with the owner where the owner's just basically cussing him out. I agree with Frank Reich in that sense. You hired me to do the job. Let me do the job. Don't be calling me, telling me that, okay, we're bad. Well, you knew we were going to be bad based on our roster. And he gets fired. And I'm sure Frank Reich is like, you know what? Thank you for getting me the hell out of here. This is a dumpster fire of a situation. I don't want to be here anymore. Pay me my money. And I'm out. My question is, who's next? Who's the next coach that gets fired? Anybody before the season's up? I figure Brandon Staley wouldn't have a job this morning, but apparently the Chargers, they're not interested in winning. They don't care. They literally don't care in winning. So Staley still has a job. Eberflus in Chicago, Rivera in Washington still have jobs. The Bucks coach, yeah, oh my God, Todd, I can't think of his last name for some reason. Yeah, Todd Bowles. He's on his way out. He's going to get fired. So, rosters are bad, but the teams are playing bad. We'll see. We will see. My man Marvel Fanatics talking about the Indiana coach. He got fired, football coach. Apparently, Indiana is a bunch of idiots. Now, a lot of you guys didn't even know that Indiana had a football program, and they basically don't. But they had a coach with a $20 million buyout. But if they fired him on December 1st, it went from $20 million to $8 million. So what do? We're going to fire him on Sunday. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Rams coach is not getting fired. Come on, people. Sean McVay is doing a hell of a job with a bad roster. Bad roster. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's who I think is going to be next. I don't even think anybody's going to get fired during the season. I think they'll just wait. If they didn't do it after this week, they'll just wait. I mean, the Chargers are pretty much eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, not technically, but they're not getting in. They're not getting in. So we'll see. We will see. Let's move on, people. Let's move on to Q&A section here. So as a reminder, everybody, again, if you're live on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. We need about 2,000 more likes, and we need about 26 more new follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, please give me a follow. I would appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube and you're live and you're not subscribed to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube, please do so. Please do so. Also on YouTube, I'd appreciate it, again, to support the channel. Anything, if you want to send over a super chat, we obviously appreciate it. The main thing with super chat, your question goes up first. It doesn't get ignored. You go right to the front of the line. So anything you want to send over to help support the channel, we absolutely appreciate it. All right. Max C says the Chargers got to win out to be able to make the playoffs. Do you think that's a possibility at all, that the Chargers are going to win out? No. I don't think there's any way at all that they're going to win out. But I hear you, brother. So, and now here's a good question from Austin. Do you think any coaches that don't deserve, or that you think there's any coaches that get fired that don't deserve it? Like Daboll or Saleh? I don't think Daboll will get fired, because I don't think Daboll was the one who wanted to pay Daniel Jones. I think that came from the organization. And the organization was wrong. And if you're wrong, you can't hold the coach accountable. And Robert Saleh, maybe, but I don't know if Saleh deserves to get fired. But then I turn around and think about it. His record is awful. So, but they can't get the quarterback right. And when they thought they got it right, the guy got hurt. So we'll see. We will definitely see. Do I think the AFC North will come down to the last week? It depends. I haven't really looked at the Ravens' schedule, but it's really going to depend on them. You know, it'll depend on the Ravens' schedule. Because I think the Steelers are going to win some games here if they play like they can play. So it very well might come back down to that last game of the year. It just might. So my man Christopher Polanco says he thinks every NFC South team may have a new head coach next season. Well, you know Carolina's going to have one. I believe Tampa is going to have one. Dennis Allen shouldn't even be a head coach, so I think they're going to have one, even if they make the playoffs. And Arthur Smith has proven that he just doesn't know what I think he's in over his head. So, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because they got to win the division. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, clearly the Saints don't want to win the division. They're not any good. It's just, it's a toss-up. But you may be right, my man. You may be right. Everybody in that division. You just might be right. What else we got? My man Wakan, thank you for coming back to the show, man. We missed you. He said Kareem Jackson's suspension. Is he a dirty player? I don't think he's a dirty player. I think it's football. I don't even think that hit to Josh Dobbs deserved a suspension at all. I mean, the guy's going for a first down. He stopped him from getting a first down. He didn't hit him in the head. He didn't hit him in the neck. He didn't do any of that. He hit him in the chest. Where are you supposed to hit the guy? And yeah, okay, used his helmet. But if you don't want guys using their helmet, then don't allow football players to wear helmets. And I guarantee you guys aren't going to stick their head in there like that. But they're not going to do that. So if he hit him in the chest with his helmet, it is what it is. It's football. Not to mention he was a runner. He was a runner. He wasn't like some receiver defenseless player or something. He was a runner. Running backs get hit like that all the time. And nothing. So, yeah, Hooligan, I'd be shocked if Saleh got fired too. So we'll see. The Ravens, they got the 49ers and Miami left. It could get dicey. If the Steelers keep playing, it could get dicey. So, Ken Dorsey, new Steelers OC. Don't want him. There's other ones. There's other people out there. I don't want Ken Dorsey. I'm not even saying that it's all Ken Dorsey's fault what happened in Buffalo, but I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't. We got to have somebody. I'm not willing to just keep the guys that we have, but we'll see. Jim Harbaugh to Carolina, says Seth. Not a chance in hell. He ain't going to Carolina. Not a chance in hell. I'm not saying he won't go to the NFL, but it ain't going to be to Carolina. So, Deron Bland, Defensive Player of the Year. He's got to be in the running, doesn't he? He's got to be in the running. I think so does TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Khalil Mack's having a crazy year. He's got to be in that conversation too. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. And here's a good question. Is Lamar Jackson the MVP right now? My man Marble Fantastic says his question is Lamar Jackson the MVP? I say no. I'd be more inclined to go Jalen Hurts than I am Lamar Jackson right now. Not that Lamar's played horrible, because he hasn't. I would just say now, if Lamar comes out and balls out against Miami, the rest of the year, then yeah. But as of right now, I would say Hurts So Russell Wilson's not going to be in the conversation for MVP. Stop it. I'm not saying Russ ain't cooking, because right now Russ is cooking, but he's not going to be in the conversation for MVP. You got to stop saying that out loud. So, let's see. Steelers finally got 400 yards. First game without Matt Canada. Can't be a coincidence, man. Can't be a coincidence. Thoughts on Detroit. Y'all know my thoughts on Detroit. We do Fraud of the Week tomorrow, and I'm just telling you, somebody's going to have to convince me that Detroit's not the Fraud of the Week. So, I open it up, but somebody is going to have to convince me that the Detroit Lions are not the Fraud of the Week. So, do I hate the Chargers? Nope. Why would I hate the Chargers? I don't even give a second thought to the Chargers. As long as they have Brandon Staley as the coach, they are not going to win anything. And I don't think most people even can take them seriously. So, my man Golf Hawk talking about Mike Elko going to Texas A&M as their new head coach. Talk about a crazy debacle. I mean, they hired Mark Stoops and then fired Mark Stoops within an hour. That was insane. Oh, I mean, you hire the man, then you fire him within an hour. He goes back to Kentucky. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And everybody talking about Mike Elko. We'll see. We will see. I actually think Stoops would have been a better fit. Stoops won at Kentucky where they have nothing. And I know Duke doesn't have much either, but Kentucky had more success. He has 3 10-win seasons in 11 years. Yeah. If you were Kentucky, would you have taken him back? Absolutely. What was Kentucky before Mark Stoops? Nothing. Do you know you're going to stay that way if he leaves? No, you don't. Let's see here. What do we got? My man, Charlie Miller. Steelers offense played with a different kind of swagger yesterday. They had a game plan. It was crazy that they actually had a game plan. They called plays like they had a game plan. They moved around with a little bounce in their step. They believed in the game plan. It was a miracle what you can do with some good game planning. So, Big B, your opinion. Who do you think is the most flamed QB? I don't know what flamed means. I'm 48, man. I'm old. I don't know what flamed means. And if you're saying gay, let me know. Watt played like an MVP yesterday. Yeah, he did. Can the Steelers pull what off? I think the Steelers they're winning. So, baby hands, is Kenny franchise? No, I'm not going that far. So, let's see. What do we got over here on YouTube, people? A.J. Brown for MVP? Absolutely not. No better time for IU football to make a splash than right now. Allen's buyout went way down in December of next year. Oh, so it was next year. See, I heard it was this year. So can't wait that long. I mean, I guess. Who are they going to bring in? Who are they going to bring in that's going to be any different? Until IU makes a true investment in football, it is what it is, man. Seth says Sean Payton, coach of the year. Now that I could get behind. I can get behind Sean Payton possibly being coach of the year. They got to keep going. They can't stop right now, but I could get behind that. I could get behind that. Marvel fanatic, I'm not even going to take you seriously if you keep saying stuff like that, brother. Not going to keep taking you seriously. Man, I don't know who the top prospects. That's a good question. Who do you guys think are the top prospects to be a head coach for the Panthers? I would say Ben Johnson, but if I'm him, do I want that job? I mean, it's a head coaching job in the NFL, but I'm not sure I would take that job. So I don't know. Eric Bieniemy, does he want that job? Can he get the job would be a better question. We'll see. Josh Allen doesn't know what an OT win is. Isn't he like 0-6 in overtime or something like that? 0-5 or 0-6? That's crazy. Louisville lose to Kentucky again. Again, we got beat by Kentucky. Unbelievable. Let's see. John Gruden grew up in Bloomington. John Gruden is a NFL coach. Do you think John Gruden, I mean, you can hire John Gruden if you want. And I'm not saying the guy doesn't know football, but he's not a proven recruiter, which is what IU needs. They haven't made a real investment in the program, which you're going to have to do to get him. I think that would be a horrible mistake to hire John Gruden. Not to mention, the parents are going to be a little upset with John Gruden, with a lot of these parents of some of these players. So we'll see. Thanks for the gifts, people. I appreciate it. I am not from Pittsburgh. No. I am not from Pittsburgh. Should the Steelers trade Harris? Warren looks really good. Well, the trade deadline was a month ago, so that's out. And I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, but Najee Harris looked great. And Jaylen Warren did not. So I'd pump the brakes on all this trade Najee Harris talk. Yeah, I'd pump those brakes big time. So, yeah, Najee Harris looked great yesterday. Not good. He looked great yesterday. Yeah, and there it is. Ben Johnson turned down Carolina last year. Why would he take it this year? He wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not if I'm him. I mean, I got to believe San Diego moves off their coach, and if they don't give it to Jim Harbaugh, I would think he would be the next guy up. So I think Harbaugh would go there, possibly the Raiders. So Kingsbury would be a good fit in Indiana. I don't think Kingsbury would take that profile of a job. I don't think he wants a rebuilding job. Although I think he probably deserves one, but I don't think he would do it. I don't think he would do it. And although he was at Texas Tech spent money in football. Indiana hasn't proven that they would do that. So now this is the type of question, Marvel, that we can get behind. Who do we think is going to win the NFC South? Who do you guys think? And I'm asking everybody, chime in. I think Atlanta ends up winning the South. Not New Orleans, not Tampa, definitely not Carolina. I think Atlanta ends up winning the South. Who do you guys think? I just think they're better. They're more physical than the Saints. They're a more physical football team than the Saints. And as bad as Ritter and Tyler Heineke are, I would trust them over Derek Carr in a tight situation. So I trust them over Derek Carr. So, and you're right, Atlanta's QB situation is tough, but I like it better than I like Derek Carr. I just do. Yes, there it is, Austin. There it is. Free Jameis Winston. Derek Carr needs to be put to sleep. It's time for 30 for 30 to be on the field, man. It is time for 30 for 30 to be on the field. Sit Derek Carr's butt down. Put Jameis Winston in the game and see what you got. And see what you got. So we'll see what happens, man. We will see what happens. But that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm hoping for. 30 for 30. Get in the game. Yes, Golf Hawk. 30 for 30 Winston. Put him in. Put him in. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Ooh, somebody said that they think Louisville's going to beat Florida State. So obviously we do Big B bets. That comes up on Friday. But let's talk about some of these college games. I think Oregon is going to beat Washington. I think Louisville is going to beat Florida State. I think Georgia is going to beat Alabama. And I think Michigan is going to beat the brakes off of Iowa. And I think Texas smacks around Oklahoma State. Those are one of my predictions for the Power 5 con. I think Oregon beats Washington and they get into the college football playoff. I think Florida State loses out because they lose to Louisville. Georgia gets in because they beat Alabama. And then who's the final team? If Georgia's in, Michigan is in, Oregon is in, who's the last team? Is it Texas? Because Florida State will be out. Washington will be out. Does Ohio State slip in there? I don't think so. I think it's got to be Texas. So that's my prediction. As of now, things could change. But as of now, I see Texas has no shot. You're not paying attention to football if you think Texas has no shot. So I think Georgia beats Alabama. So Georgia's in, Alabama is out. I think Michigan blows the doors off of Iowa, so they're in. I think Florida State loses. If Florida State loses, they're out. Oregon wins. And if they win, Washington out. Or, since the Pac-12 is the best conference, do they put Washington in because of their resume, which technically their resume is better than anybody's in the country, and they just have the one loss to Oregon? Would they put Washington in ahead of Texas? I say hell no, they wouldn't. There ain't a chance in hell. There isn't a chance in hell. And the Pac-12 is the best conference. Watch more college football if you don't think so. So I don't think there is a chance in hell that they would put a one-loss Washington in over Texas if Texas is undefeated or has the one loss. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That is not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I keep seeing these people talking about the Pac-12 is the best. When, where, how? Do you guys watch college football? If you watch college football, then you know that the Pac-12 had the best conference this year. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's not up for debate. It's not an illusion. It's the best conference this year. Period. Just period. So anybody that keeps saying, well, what about the SEC? No, the SEC is not the best conference this year. They have the best team. Georgia's the best team, but it is not the best conference. And if you are saying that, it's two things. Either you don't watch football or college football, you don't pay attention, or you have no idea what you're talking about. Because if you're watching college football, you know that the Pac-12 this year is the best conference. End of story. There's the end of story. Ohio State has no chance to get in, though. Yeah, they're out. They're out. Your two best wins can't be Notre Dame and Penn State and expect to get into the college football playoff. That can't happen. Sorry. That's not going to happen. And you're not a conference champion either. That can't happen. So, yeah, that can't happen. Now, if Georgia loses, that's a good question. If Georgia loses, then all hell breaks loose. And my question is still, do you put Alabama ahead of a team that beat them by 11 points on Alabama's home field? Do you do that? Because Texas went to Alabama and smacked them around. And you can say it's 3 months ago. It don't matter. They beat you. And you have the same record. Or what are you trying to say? Because they beat Georgia, that means more than a team that beat you? Come on. What are we doing? Golly. Then all you're saying is, hey, Power 5 teams, don't play anybody good, because if you do, we're going to hold that against you at the end of the year because we're not going to count it. If you win, we don't care. We don't care. Regular season wouldn't matter. We don't care. We don't care. So you can play somebody if you want to, but that doesn't matter. Texas beat Alabama by 11 points at Alabama. We don't care. We don't care. So, and I love chaos. I love it. So, I don't know how Texas is ranked behind Ohio. Well, Ohio State's pretty good, but they don't have the resume that Texas does. I'll give you that. You can't lose in November. Okay. Who lost in November? Who are we talking about that lost in November other than Ohio State? I mean, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if Texas wins out and Alabama wins. Because I'm assuming they would want to put Georgia still in there. I'm assuming they would want to do that. It'd be interesting. I just don't see how you can ever put Alabama ahead of Texas. Not when they played on an actual football field at Alabama and Texas whipped them. I don't see how you could ever do that. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying how would be, the committee would basically, like I said, they would just say regular season does not matter to us. We don't care. So, which would be nuts. It doesn't matter if you're the SEC champ or not. You lost to a team with the same record, and they're a Big 12 champ. So, and you're right, that ain't going to happen. I think Georgia beats Alabama by 2 touchdowns. I think Georgia brings their A game, and they beat Alabama by 2 touchdowns. So that's what I believe. That's what I believe. I don't think the game's going to be close. And it ain't because I think Alabama's a bad football team, because they're not. I just think Georgia is that much better than everybody. Quiet as it's kept, the Georgia offense this year is head and shoulders better than the Georgia offense that won the last 2 national championships. Those are just facts. That's a fact. The Georgia offense this year is head and shoulders better than the one that won back-to-back national championships. So, just period, point blank, man. It's nuts. It's nuts. But we'll see. Florida State's going to get murdered by Georgia if they had to play. They might. But I don't think they're going to beat Louisville. And I think Florida State's going to be out. So, Total chaos is what my man Hooligan says. Bama, Texas, Oregon all winning. Talk about madness. Yes. Yeah, I'm for it, though. I'm for chaos. And I want to see how the committee tries to weasel its way out of it. I'm for it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm 100% for the chaos. And I want to see them try to weasel their way. Because you'll know whether they do or not. You'll know whether it's about money or if it's about warrant. We'll know. We'll know. So, all right, man, we're going to shut this one down for today, people. I appreciate all you guys. As a reminder, man, the Big B Daily Show is on Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Tell a friend, bring a buddy. Anybody that's on TikTok, remember to follow. If you're in here and you're not following, please give a follow. I would appreciate that, man. It helps support the channel and the algorithm. And anybody that is also following, please click on the YouTube link that is in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. That, when you're on YouTube, if you're already subscribed, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment. That always helps the algorithm over there, and it helps me out tremendously. So I appreciate all of that, and I appreciate all of your all support. Thank you, guys. We will catch you guys tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good evening, and aloha.